I'm going to Chicago today, and I'm going to eviscerate Chicago Bears fans on my way to O'Hare Airport. It's a lot of fun. Where's this thing right here? We got to get rid of this! Ah! All I said is steal the show. Justin Fields, steal the show. You've got primetime Thursday Night Football on Amazon against the Commanders. You should win that game. Make plays, which she did, and we'll get to. And then next week, of course, the Bears on Monday Night Football, another primetime game. We'll have the Patriots. Another chance to show you are the face of the franchise. And the worst part of it, you are the face of the franchise. You're good. You just can't get it done because you're in the worst situation possible. I could imagine a hellscape of turmoil in my hometown of Chicago. Now, last night, the Commanders did their thing, taking down, or did very little to take down the Chicago Bears, 12-7 final score. The Bears had a chance, of course, to win it with 42 seconds left in the game. They faced a 4th and goal at the 4-yard line. Darnell Mooney, oh, if he could have grabbed this cleanly on the win. Oh, everybody at Giordano's, Eduardo's, Portillo's, all the places in Chicago not happy about this one. Wiener Circle, where we saw Marshawn Lynch sitting out of. That was weird. I don't know what the story was behind that. Everyone unhappy, but also unhappy, the winning head coach. It was the head coach of the Commanders that was angry after the game. Take a look.
Everybody keeps wanting to say, I didn't want anything to do with Carson. Well, I'm the guy that pulled out the sheets of paper, that looked at the analytics, that watched the tape in the fricking, when we were at Indianapolis, okay? And that's what pisses me off, because the young man doesn't deserve to have that all the time. I'm sorry, I'm done.
Can I do that as a Bears fan? Can I just say I'm sorry, I'm done, and like waltz out of here into my weekend? I'm a big Ron Rivera supporter. I think he unfairly got a lot of grief for what he said, but he walked it back, and I think that's what this was too. Because there's a question that emerges, and the question is the situation with Wentz beyond repair already? Rivera there clearly trying to make up for what he said, how he misspoke, how it was misconstrued, whatever, and have his quarterbacks back. But Wentz already knows he does not fully believe in him. And I'm not sure you can win that trust back at this point. And Wentz didn't do anything to win the trust of anybody last night. He looked rough again, and you have to wonder how much of this affected him, because he is one of those players that we can say, because there's a lot of data on the matter, that those sort of things, off the field drama or whatever's going on, it seeps into his play. It's happened before. And then on the Bears side, I'm just going to, I'm not going to eviscerate Bears players, what's going on. It's the fans we need to talk to here, because I have maintained, I have defended, and I think I'm right, to the wrath of Chicago and unappreciative Bears fans. This situation was never Matt Nagy. Everything was pinned on him, because collectively Chicago fans, and most NFL fan bases, to be fair, need someone to blame instead of just saying it's not going because it might be a collective issue. It's clear the Bears cannot protect Justin Fields. 5 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. It's over and over. It's Groundhog's Day. It's the definition of insanity and all of that. He was getting teed off on in the pocket. He barely made it through the game in one piece. And Fields isn't blameless here either, but he did show lots of talent, and he showed plenty of guts on that 2-minute drive. I say this crap every week. Every week I stand here with my Bears helmet. I just know where it is, but I'm bad at directions. And I say the same stuff. He showed grit. He showed flashes. We always get that, oh, that's why we love it. That's why he's going to pull us in and lead us to the promised land. There was the incredible run. There was that ball to Mooney, and if it's a game-winning touchdown, of course, if he catches it cleanly. But Matt Nagy, to me, is all I was thinking about, because he wasn't perfect. But he took the entire brunt of what went on last year, and I didn't think that it was fair then. And what's gone on here, and what we saw under the bright lights last night, and what we will see again with the New England game in Week 7, has proven that. The roster is lacking, and that is on Ryan Pace more than anyone else. Nagy, he's back in Kansas City. He's going to Joe's Barbecue. He's, the quarterback's coach to Mahomes. And if you're saying, oh, well, he's Mahomes. No, he's helping Mahomes thrive this year without Tyreek Hill, which was a huge question on everybody's mind. So do the math. And Matt Nagy, by the way, doesn't need me to sit here defending him throwing punches. He's doing just fine over in the AFC. But let's acknowledge that the Chicago mob needing to find some singular person to blame was not the right move. And let's do better going forward. And to talk more more about this Commanders 12-7 win over the Bears. Let's bring in Carmen Vitali from FoxSports.com. Carmen, I'm a little angry about this game, and I know that you were there. And Justin Fields, after the game, this was the quote, right? Let me read it for everybody. Quote, "I'm tired of being almost there. I'm tired of being just this close." What does the Bears offense need to do to help Fields here?
I mean, I'm not quite sure where to start for all of the things that you said. Not only is this a new system for this team, is it a new system for Fields, a second in 2 years, but there was a giant roster turnover, and Ryan Pace didn't set up this team for success so that when Ryan Poles took over, he has a lot of work to do. And I thought everything you said about Bears fans too, I'm like, I thought we all went into this season knowing that this was going to look worse before it got better. And that is what we're seeing now, because these guys, I talked to Braxton Jones in the locker room last night, and I think it was a little bit of a microcosm of what's going on here, in that he was getting bull rushed all night. And that's a very good Washington defensive front. For all the struggles Washington has had, that's one of the best units in the league, that front seven. He was getting bull rushed by Montez Sweat, all these DNs all night, and he flat out said, I really appreciate how candid he was, I need to get stronger. I'm not there yet. And oh, hey, maybe a 5th-round rookie out of Southern Utah wouldn't be used to going against these NFL caliber defensive ends and defensive tackles and all that kind of stuff. And he was just like, I mean, he was over and over and over again got lit up. And Justin Fields was pressured, I think, on 46% of every single play.
Goodness.
That last night. So, I mean, it's like the sacks are one thing, because I think a lot of that has to do with Justin, like you alluded to. He's got the slowest release time in the league right now because he's trying to process so much because he doesn't get this offense quite yet. But also, he's still under pressure because he just doesn't have the bodies. So when it comes down to it, you're going to have to get the bodies. It's just going to take time.
And then I'm looking at Field. It's going to take time, right? How much time do we have? Like, how grave is the situation? Because all I said yesterday is just like, look, give me something to hold on to as a Bears fan. And that is Justin Fields. Give me those bright spots and moments. But it's such a terrible situation. It was so obvious. And we've seen grim examples, right? Like Sam Bradford, if you would look at Andrew Luck later in his career, sustaining injuries, losing confidence, all of that, and how much a quarterback's development can be messed up. Like, how concerned are you? Because is it, we're wasting this kid's talent, or is it we're going to ruin this kid?
No, that was my kind of concern coming into this season, because I saw what they had on the offensive line, and especially now that the offensive line still isn't, there's no continuity there. And you're dealing with injuries, and even in this game, I mean, you had Lucas Patrick go out, and you had guys sliding over left and right. And I think I'm getting to the point where I'm like, you're not just hurting Justin's development at this point. He was on I can't tell you how tough he was, because every single time he dropped back, I feel like in that second half especially, everyone in the press box was just holding their breath.
Yeah.
And now you start to think this might have effects now down the line, long-term effects, stuff that's going to last beyond this season. And I would hate that, because I do think that he is such a talent, but he's putting everything on himself right now because he's got no other choice. And it all starts up front. And
then, Matt Judon, anyone? Dietrich Wise? Anyone?
I'm so scared for that.
Why do we bubble wrap this poor kid who just wants to be the best? Of course, an emotional leader in that locker room at such a young age. That's unbelievable. Okay, I just want to say you're amazing, because you got up to be on our show. You were there late last night. We completely screwed you yesterday, told you a different time. You were supposed to be on to preview the game, but it was almost better to have you, because you were obviously had your eyes and ears everywhere, and you were in the locker room talking to Braxton and company. I love you for doing this. I'm sorry we screwed you. And then of course I'm like, I'm so sorry. Did we mess that up? And she's like, I'm running back to my camera. I'm like, don't run back to your camera. We messed that up. So I appreciate you. At some point, are you in LA anytime this season?
I'm in LA tomorrow for a while. So,
are you going to come on the show on Monday or Tuesday?
Do you want me to? Because I can.
For literally half the show? Absolutely. Book it. Carmen Vitali on Up and Adams show next week, and she's really just coming to remove that Bears helmet. I see you. I see you working. Check out all of her work at FoxSports.com, and we, of course, I'll see you next week, and drinks to follow. Follow us on Instagram stories, and we'll be idiots. It'll be great. Okay, let's take a look at what happened last week, because we got to look ahead to Week 6. It kicked off last night with that Commanders win over the Bears, but here we have James Jones. Oh, I've never seen this photo before, James Jones. It's so original.
Yeah, man, that's a little swag, man. Me and my homeboys, man. We got old school Mark Fleming in there. You see Mark Murphy, Nick Collins, Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, and then that's just the dude walking with.
What's your favorite Beatles song, James?
Oh, you gonna put me on the spot? You know I ain't got no favorite Beatles song, man. I'm just going on with the flow. I ain't gonna lie to the world.
I love it, and I love you. I hear you were in the studios here yesterday, and I didn't see you. I'd like to get you in studio if it were ever possible, but you've been busy. You were in London with your hoodie, going pub to pub last week, and you witnessed the Packers fall to the Giants. What was the most concerning to you about the loss, other than the fact that I was blowing you up like...
Oh, man, it's a couple things stood out. Number one, you know, I was a little frustrated with our defense, and not just because I'm an offensive player, but I was a little frustrated with our defense because the Giants really ran 3 plays in that game. They ran a bootleg with the quarterback, and then you ran Saquon Barkley up the middle, and you had one big successful play on the Wildcat formation, and Saquon Barkley got big yardage. But they ran 3 plays the whole game, and we could not figure it out on the defensive side of the ball. And then the offense, they just have to find ways to make explosive plays. They're not making any explosive plays right now. You know, when they do make an explosive plays, it's Aaron Rodgers being great Aaron Rodgers, escaping out of the pocket, throwing this crazy throw that, you know, he usually makes 90% of the time. But they got to find consistent ways to make explosive plays. And when they do play good football teams, if you're not able to do that, you're not going to have success. And
he's been saying this week that he's giving me shades of relax this week. Like, you know, we always go on a run. We're going to go on a run. But after that game, you know him better than I do. I want to show you the footage of Daniel Jones coming up to him. And I want you to caption, what is Aaron Rodgers thinking? What is Aaron Rodgers thinking in this moment?
Man, 12, you see 12 man even looking at him right there. He's like, man, y'all not even on that. We let y'all up out of here, man. We should have dominated y'all boys. That's enough, you know. But you can see he irritated right there.
Yeah, my favorite is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, who do you think? All respect to Daniel Jones, and he got the win. But he's like, are you okay, man? Oh, man, tough loss. Like, you'll get better. You'll bounce back. You'll be okay. It's the fun. That piece of footage really was delightful for me to watch. Aaron's, of course, probably also thinking, my thumb really hurts. He's dealing with some sort of injury. How does that impact him? He's got the Jets on the docket.
Oh, man, 12's a goon, man. I've been around 12 for a long time. You know, I mean, he done played through a lot of injuries. He's one of those guys that if he can go out there and be out there for his football team, it don't matter what he's going through, he's going to be out there for him. So I think I rubbed a little bit off on him, you know, about being a goon and fight through injuries and all that type of stuff. But no, he'll be out there. He'll play at a high level. And like I said, they got to get it going. I mean, you got the New York Jets coming in here who ride high because, you know, they sitting at 3-2. So they got to get it going on the offensive side of the ball. Like I said, man, get some chemistry, man, and start getting some of these explosive games going. I
think I know what the impact of the injury should be. His thumb hurts. How about you run the ball?
Say it again. And you talking to a receiver, too. Hand that thing off. You're right. You got 2 of the baddest men in the world in the backfield, right? Coach LaFleur was starting to do a great job of putting both of them on the field at the same time. And sometimes, yes, you got to hand the ball off. I am not going to say it's easy, right? Because I'm an offensive coordinator right now for Little League football. My quarterback is a stud. Right? Yeah. He ain't Aaron Rodgers, but he is a stud. So sometimes when I'm calling plays, I'm like, why am I going to hand it off when my quarterback is a phenom? He is a baller. I'm going to throw this. So I feel sorry for Coach LaFleur because we're yelling, run it, but he's looking at it too like, dude, I got 12. Like, I have the baddest man in the world.
Bill Belichick had Tom Brady.
For me.
Bill Belichick had Tom Brady, but he ran the ball.
Tom threw that thing a lot too, though. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with you, Kay. I'm with you. Hand the ball off. Let's run the ball.
Here's what I want from you.
Hands, but let's run it.
Convince me that Aaron Rodgers will stick to running the ball.
Convince you? 12 wants to win, right? So if running plays are called, 12 is going to hand that ball off. Now, Matt LaFleur's not calling any run plays, and he's putting Aaron Rodgers in these 50-50 plays. And what I mean by that is, you know, I mean, he could check into the run. You know what I'm saying? You know, 50% of the time, you know what I mean? He ain't running at that. He is going to throw that ball. But if these run plays are called, 12 is going to hand that ball off. 12 is all about winning. 12 knows that the two best players, except myself on this offensive side of the ball, is my two running backs. And he said it time and time again.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's in the pass game or the run game. We got to find ways to get these dudes multiple touches in a football game. You know what I'm saying? So that has to get done. You know, they got to hand it off. They got to run the football. In the pass game, they got to get it to A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones as well and let them boys make hay.
And you got Sauce Gardner out there. I know he's the greatest quarterback ever, but I don't think the receivers, the chemistry are quite there. I'm not saying he should avoid Gardner, but I don't know if it's there yet. So I hope they lean on the run, and I love hearing you reaffirm to Packers fans out there that this is somebody who wants to win, and he'll do it at all costs, including being tough, which I don't think he gets enough credit for being a tough player out there playing through injury. Let's look at some other games here. Bills-Chiefs, we've got to talk about it. You know, last time they played this game was the AFC divisional matchup, and I would just like to know which quarterback you would rather catch passes from, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. You wanted to come on the show.
Oh my goodness. I gotta go with Patty. I mean, and it's not easy. Bills fans, I'm not saying this like it's just easy. You see me put my head down like, why is she gonna ask me this question? These two. But Patty just so many different angles. I mean, the ball coming out his hands extremely fast. You know, he besides Aaron Rodgers, he is a quarterback's best friend when you talk about catching the football from a quarterback. You're never covered when you're playing with Patty Mahomes. Never. He is going to put the football where he wants to put the football, when he wants to put the football. You are never covered. I don't care if Jalen Ramsey's on you. I don't care if Stephon Gilmore's on you. You are never covered playing with Patrick Mahomes, right? He is going to put the ball where he wants to put it. Josh Allen, right? Sometimes he likes to get a little happy with his legs and all that. Does he make the big-time play? Yes, right? But that don't benefit my receiver stats, right? So I'm going Patty Mahomes, man. Patty Mahomes, he's just a special thrower of the football. But that's a tough one, man. Josh Allen is something else.
It's a tough one.
I'm taking Patty.
You could have just given me the answer and said, I don't know, okay, flip a coin.
You know, you're right. Exactly right. But I'll take the young fella from Kansas City.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to blame you for that except about 2 million Buffalo Bills fans when they see this clip on Twitter. And then Aaron Rodgers for saying, you know, Aaron will text you too and say, why didn't you pick me anyway? Why are you picking another quarterback?
I started to.
You played for Mike McCarthy, so I want to ask you about the Cowboys because it's fascinating to me, and it's really the game of the week. It's Sunday Night Football in the NFC East, which is the exciting division of football. But it's Cooper Rush. He's going into Philadelphia to take on this undefeated Eagles team. If Cooper pulls it off and goes 5-0 as Dallas's starting quarterback, what happens?
Nothing. This is Dak Prescott's team, right? You know, when Dak Prescott comes back and they drop a couple games or something, I mean, you might hear the fans and all that yelling Cooper Rush, but come on, man, let's be honest. This is Dak Prescott's football team. Kudos to Cooper Rush for coming in and keeping his team afloat and being 5-0. He's playing good football. He's not turning the football over. Kudos to the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff, man, for getting this young fella ready, getting him going, and putting him in position to have success on that offensive side of the ball. But let's not get it twisted, right? Because they are winning football games because of this defense, right? Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, Cooper Rush threw for 100 yards last week. You know what I mean? This defense is problems, right? Nothing to take away from Cooper Rush, but as an owner in Jerry Jones, as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator, this is Dak Prescott's football team, right? We are going to let Dak Prescott sink this ship. That is why Dak Prescott got paid all that money. So if Dak Prescott goes out there and he loses, that's what we paid the guy, right? This is our guy. This is our quarterback. But Dak is going to come in there and play well. Like I said, they're winning football games right now because of their defense. If
they keep the offense not simple, but if they have it running the way it's running right now with that defense, when Dak comes back, I think they'll have success as well. All right, thank you so much to my guy, James Jones, who stop avoiding me when you're here. Will you come in studio sometime?
Well, I'm up bright and early. You know, you get extra hours of sleep. You know what I'm saying? You got to wake up a little early.
I have like a fan in here, but I'm Beyonceing it. There's like a fan with my hair today. It's really working for me on a Friday. We appreciate you, James Jones. You're amazing. Sorry for putting you on the spot with the Beatles and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. But that's just, you know, that's what it is. You can handle it.
That's just what you do. I ain't never gonna lie to the fans. I ain't gonna say I got the Beatles on my phone. I don't got it.
I bet you, though. I bet you if you went on their greatest hits, you would know every song. I bet you.
Oh, I'll probably know a couple words or something.
I would say so. You're the best. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the game. We will be back here. I love having James Jones on the show. He's incredible. We have a true NFL legend joining us next. Oh, my old friend Carl Banks. Look at that New York smile. Yeah, things are looking good. I need that sweater. I need that sweatshirt.
Hey, they said we're done, baby. Hey, I don't understand them. They stuck a fork in us and said we were done. Hey, San Francisco, they're back. We're back. They're back.
I love that footage. Our next guest is a two-time Super Bowl champ with the New York Giants, currently an analyst on the New York Giants radio broadcast and co-host of the Believe in Giants podcast with my guy Bob Papa. It is the legend, Carl Banks. Good morning.
Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
I'm so good. It's great to see you. I need the sweatshirt, all the details. What are you wearing?
Oh, we hooked it up for the London games. We did this for the Giants. Starter did it for the Giants. So all hand-created graphics, and we wanted to do a whole London theme. So I have to show you the back
Let's
to
see.
make it official.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm a size extra small, but I think with that
we
one.
got you.
Yeah.
So we did it with the whole aesthetic of London graffiti, like kind of a Banksy feel.
I can see.
Kind of a London street scene feel. But yeah, we did this for the team, and they went out and they played well in London. So I'm so happy. And we did it for the fans also.
You know who didn't have those? The Packers. And so I'm not.
Well, they were offered.
But I'm just saying, basic arithmetic. You got the team that had the Giants Banksy
They
sweatshirt.
said no.
Got the win. The Packers said no. What is going on in that organization? All right, let's talk about your team, because your team is in fact 4-1, which is incredible. Best start since 2009. You host a podcast about believing in the Giants. Are you and our fans there in my old city of New York believing?
Yeah, I think they are believing, but they're believing in the culture shift. I don't think there's an illusion that this team is this year away from a Super Bowl. But what they're seeing is a culture shift. They're seeing players that believe in the system, and they're looking at football in, I would say, modern day era football in terms of how it's played on both sides of the football. Like the way Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, how they run offenses is not what Giants fans are accustomed to. They're, anytime something goes wrong, they always want to go back to the Parcells days or the Coughlin days. And though Kevin Gilbride was a forward thinker in terms of how he ran his offense, these guys are doing things a little differently. They're approaching NFL on today's NFL terms. So, and they like it. And then, Wink Martindale is, doing things that a lot of defensive coordinators don't have the guts to do, especially when he doesn't have, a roster full of great football players on defense. He's playing to his strengths, and he's putting offenses in some bad situations.
Yeah, Eric Weddle calls him Winkers, and has a lot of affection for him, and we turned him into a top 10 unit. It's incredible. You mentioned Parcells there, and of course, the comparisons start flying with all coaches. Does Daboll do anything that reminds you of Parcells? Are there similarities?
Yeah, I think when you talk Parcells and you talk Bill Belichick, both guys, Brian Daboll knows well, they subscribe to winning principles. That's what it really comes down to. Good fundamentals. They want smart football players, and they want players who love playing football. So, and that can be coached hard too. So they have those things in common. Philosophy and how they see the game is a little bit different, but it all comes down to the basic fundamentals at the end of the day.
Is there one quality that you think Daboll has that the predecessors to him that didn't work out lacked? Is there one thing that sort of distinguishes him?
Well, I think the connection with the players. And that's no disrespect to any of the other coaches. Sometimes players respond differently to different coaches, and those coaches can go on and have success elsewhere. But he just connects. His staff connects with the players. Whatever they're doing within the building, the players have all bought in.
Yeah. Daniel Jones, he doesn't have a contract, right? He's coming into the season without a contract extension. So 4-1 start, just took down the Packers, missing his entire wide receiving depth chart core. What do you make of Daniel Jones, and do you think he's the future?
Well, the future is now for anybody playing in the league. Yeah, you're playing for a future contract, you're playing for future security, but the only way you do that is to play well. And when you talk to Coach Dable and even Joe Shane, they continue to say really positive things about Daniel Jones. And, you know, we get a chance to speak with him on the Monday after the game for his show, and he can't say enough great things about how Daniel Jones is doing everything that they've asked him to do in terms of executing. And just keep in mind, too, they just found a receiver healthy that can create separation, and that's Darius Slayton. Other than that, they've had to scheme their way through every offensive possession because they don't have anybody who can flip the field in one play. Now, Darius Slayton, with his speed and he's got his confidence back, has been able to do that a little bit for them. But with the absence of guys that, you know, just haven't been there, they just had to kind of scheme crossing routes and, you know, get Daniel Jones on the move. But now that they have guys that can get down the field, you see Daniel Jones can drive the ball down the field.
Yeah, and Saquon being healthy, of course, and out there.
Oh my
and
God.
with Dable, he certainly helps.
That is the difference maker. Like Saquon, when you have Saquon Barkley, he is a force multiplier because he can catch it. He's explosive, so you can stop him for, you know, 3/4 of the game and hold him to 2 or 3 yards of carry, and the next thing you know, he breaks one for like 65, 70 yards.
There was this footage, I was showing James Jones, who, you know, very close with Aaron Rodgers, and this was the takedown over in London, and everyone's looking at Aaron Rodgers in this one and how he doesn't even want to make eye contact. He's, of course, devastated. He's probably like, I lost to this kid. But Daniel Jones, look at the confidence in this young player, this player that's gone through it in the New York media back pages. And is his confidence sort of the thing that puts him, you know, that you think of first when you think about things that aren't tangible?
I do believe it's confidence. And to play in this market is tough enough. But then to not have success, and a lot of it is not your own doing, and to take all the bullets that he's taken and then to step on the field and still believe that he's a great quarterback or a really good quarterback or an NFL-level quarterback when everybody's saying he's trash, and he's just proving everybody wrong.
Yeah.
And he just, you know, he's just – the beautiful part about him, and that's a lot like Eli Manning, they have the ability to block out the noise and just focus on the things that they can control, and that's getting better and executing, you know, the offenses that he's been given. He's been given a lot of different offenses.
Yeah, the microphones, the lights, but he just says, I'm not worried about my contract. I'm worrying about winning. It's just like you can't create a better mentality for a player than what he was day one there. It's really, really impressive for such a young kid in such a vicious marketplace like New York City. This weekend, it's a really good one. And, you know, you mentioned Wink Martindale, so we got to get into it here. Mm-hmm. It's the Giants hosting the Ravens. You know, so much praise on Winker, spending 10 years in Baltimore. What do you think his game plan will be to stop Lamar Jackson, who he, of course, knows very well? And, you know, you're nothing to sneeze at analyzing the game, 12 seasons at linebacker. Yeah. How would you contain Lamar?
Contain is the right word because you're not going to stop him. He's a unicorn. But, you know, you've got to choke off the edges, not let him break your contain. But they make everything look the same. Their runs, their quarterback runs, their play-action passes stays the same. But, look, they've got a great tight end. They've got a really good, speedy receiver/back. So it's a matter of, first of all, making sure Lamar Jackson doesn't beat you on the edges running. If he beats you passing, you just got to make sure that you keep him off rhythm as much as possible. You got to be disruptive. That means you're cutting off edges and hitting gaps and just screwing up the timing. But it's just hard to say you're going to stop Lamar Jackson. You don't stop him. You contain him, you know, and you contain him by taking away some of his key receivers. So you take Andrews away, and you
Good
make
luck.
him go to another, or Duvernay away, and you make him go to another read. But it's just, and then that other read might be him taking off, but it's just, you got to pick your poison, but you just don't stop a guy like that.
I wonder if, Wink does know him in and out, so it'll be super interesting to see how it happens. You forgot to say pray. You pray that you can stop him. You do whatever.
Yeah, that comes in too.
Whatever you can. Carl Banks, you are such a delight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being on my show and taking the time. And enjoy that Giants-Ravens game this weekend. We'll, of course, talk to you down the line. And tell Bob I say hi. Love Bob.
I will do.
He's the best. And send me that shirt. All right, we got to get out of here. This Adam show. We know he's like, I'm such a fashionable person. Look at me. I look like I'm going to hunt deer after the show. We know Josh Allen is good. What are the numbers that make him really special? Have to say, Sam Monson. Are we drinking beer next? Yay! I love Fridays on the show. Great show on a Friday to celebrate the start of football season. FanDuel Casino is hosting a Friday Casino Happy Hour. All you got to do is log on to FanDuel Casino app tonight from 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time to get the special offer. Don't miss out. Download the FanDuel Casino app and get tonight's Friday Happy Hour free bonus. Speaking of happy hour, it's Friday. We do beers on Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Not before I get a little PFF action. Joining me again, as always, on Fridays, or at least until he gets sick of me, the co-host of the PFF NFL podcast, PFF's lead NFL analyst, Sam Monson. Is that a Leinster jersey?
Yes, it is.
They wrote that in prompter. I don't know what that is. Tell me again.
It's the province of Dublin is in, my province.
Yes, your province, yes. Well, I'd like to introduce you to Poland. This is a Żywiec beer. Say piwo.
Piwa?
Piwo. It's beer. Piwo. This is piwo in Polish, and I'm going to Chicago, and the Bears lost. They have a big Polish community. So, na zdrowie, my friend. What are you drinking?
We're going local. So we've got the Dublin jersey, and we've got the Cincinnati area Rheingeist Brewery.
Why are you so much cooler than me? This is awful. Cheers to you. Yay.
You too.
Okay, delicious. Fridays are my favorite day of the week because of this segment, because I get a lot smarter and a lot drunker into my weekend. So let's get through some of the numbers and get PFF'd up. These are numbers that I see, and I'm like, man, this is super weird. So the first number I've been given is 116.8. Now, I think that's the miles per hour I'm going to have to run to make my plane at LAX on time to go to Chicago and celebrate my niece's first birthday. But what is it?
Wow, LAX is rough at the best of times, let alone when you've got a plane to catch in quick order. That is the passer rating that Josh Allen has under pressure this season. Under pressure. 118 or 116.8 is a pretty insane passer rating at the best of times, but to get that under pressure this season is crazy. It's the best rate in the NFL, and he's a player whose passer rating actually goes up this season when he's put under pressure, which is basically impossible. It doesn't happen to any other quarterback.
Yeah, we had James Jones on. I put him on the spot and said, who would you rather catch balls from, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen? And he picked Patrick Mahomes. Do you think he was wrong?
I think those are the two best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, in the last year or so. Those two guys are special in terms of talent, in terms of arm, what they can do, the special plays that they can make. It's 1 and 2 right now. And honestly, I don't know if you're wrong, whichever order you pick.
Flip a coin! Ooh, that still hurts Bills fans, I know, but this doesn't hurt Bills fans. Josh is currently leading the NFL, averaging 330.2 passing yards per game. So the passing rating, 116.8 is huge and amazing. Now the next number is a low one, 6.4%. I'm just going to say it's the percent chance I make my flight after the show, or actually the percent chance the pilot decides to fly it, that it leaves the airport, all those things.
So one of the things PFF tracks is what we call big time throws. We let Steve name it, unfortunately, so it doesn't have the best name in the world, but they're basically the best graded throws in our system. They're the high impact plays. They have a really high correlation to scoring at the end of the drive. Geno Smith leads the NFL in big time throw rate this year. So he's not just accurate, he's not just efficient, he's not just a game manager. He is making big time throws deep down the field.
That's insane. Through 5 weeks, he's leading the NFL in completion percentage, passer rating. Did anybody have that on their 2022 bingo board? Anybody think that was the case? Do the PFF numbers think he can keep it up?
there's no sign of it slowing down. I mean, Geno Smith looks like a different quarterback than earlier in his career, and he has a good situation around him in terms of players to throw the ball to, an offensive line that's been better than it has been in previous years in Seattle. I don't see a reason it will slow down.
Yeah, I love it. All right, the next number they're telling me in my ear is 27. Now, I'm guessing 27 is the number of times that you'll tell me what Leinster is, and I still won't know. But what do you think it is?
Look, I'll keep going until we all know. I'm just educating the world over here in Leinster Rugby. 27, the number of defensive stops that Dre Greenlaw has to lead the NFL. Look, tackles are great, and you'll hear a lot about players leading the league in tackles, but where do those tackles take place? Were they actually wins for the defense, or did you just happen to be the guy that brought down a player after a good, successful run? So that defense is playing spectacularly, and Dre Greenlaw leads the NFL on defensive stops.
This makes me so happy you brought this up because, listen, I'm a Fred Warner gal. Love Fred Warner, love his family, his whole situation, but he gets so much shine there, and rightfully so. But it does seem like it's about time to start acknowledging and giving love and saying Nazdravya and cheers to Greenlaw. It's crazy to me, Sam, to think that the Niners got Warner in the 3rd round of 2018. Greenlaw was taken in the 5th round just the next year, and now we're looking at maybe the best linebacking duo in the NFL, both mid-round picks. So can we just do a cheers to John Lynch on this one? John Lynch,
Absolutely.
we see you. You are crushing it. That defense is crazy and nobody wants to play him. Okay. 28.4% is the number. The percentage of my budget that goes to coffee to survive this show.
It's a good percentage. Good place to spend it, though. That is the RPO percentage that Green Bay's offense has this season, which is number 1 in the NFL, and it's up 10 percentage points over a year ago. I think what you're seeing is them trying to manufacture offense because Aaron Rodgers still doesn't have confidence in that receiving core, whether it's Alan Lazard, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson. He doesn't have trust in any of these guys, and they're trying to scheme up free plays. They're trying to scheme up offensive production because they can't just rely on their receivers winning one-on-one consistently.
Yeah, and for the struggles the Packers have had in the passing game, and I was, not rough with James Jones, but I was saying, he needs to run the ball more, what's going on. Rodgers still has the 6th highest completion percentage in the NFL this season, and you have to listen to what Aaron says. Aaron all week has been sort of doing that RELAX thing. He's been like, we're about to go on a run, and hopefully they run the ball, and that's what he's really trying to say, but I'm not as worried about them as a lot of people are. Finally, the number is 47.2%. I'm going to guess that is the percent my iPhone screen time went up compared to last week. And iPhone, stop making me feel bad about it every week.
Yeah, nobody needs to know that. Don't tell people. 47% is blitz rate for the Giants. Number 1 in the NFL, Wink Martindale, the most aggressive defense in the league, going up against his old player from Baltimore, a guy on the other side he knows well. And Lamar's been great against the blitz this season, but not in previous years. That's a fascinating matchup this week.
I love it, and clearly having a positive effect. The Giants defense ranked 23rd in points allowed last season. They've jumped up to 9th this year. All right, Sam, cheers to you. Enjoy. What's in back of you? Can you just, let's do a little, they're not yelling at me yet in my ear, so what do we got?
We got Brian O'Driscoll here, one of the greatest rugby players of all time.
Okay, and the other one?
We got the Ultimate Warrior on the other side.
Yeah. No Chris Hogan?
I don't have a Chris Hogan, no.
No Chris Hogan on your wall? All right, we appreciate you, Sam Monson with PFF. Catch all of his work. And please download the new PFF app, unless you don't want to be smart, unless you don't care about that kind of stuff. All right, George Pickens, a PFF star the past 2 weeks coming up. I'll tell you why I think that continues this week. And see that PFF Up and Adam show family? I love that.
Really proud. Great players. Y'all fire. We them dogs, just fire.
You fight your asses off, okay? Find a way.
All right, it's not about who's the toughest. It's about who's the toughest and longest.
Man, defense, that's a hell of a job.
Number 1 in scoring. Shutout. Six fourth down stops.
We're about to go down there and kick the game-winning field goal. And that's exactly what you guys did, man. You did it as a team. That's a hard-fought victory.
Congratulations. We haven't forgotten how to win. Make this normal.
It is absolutely normal.
What else? Yes, sir.
I'll see you Wednesday!
Love love seeing the Patriots get a win. My Bears lost. What's it like to win? That's what it looks like in the winning locker rooms, of course. Nope, not in Chicago. Not where I'm headed after the show. Quick shout out before we get to this. For the first time ever, my brothers-in-laws, I guess, but they're like parents to me. Kathy and John Rep, and I love that you guys are in Chicago. I love that you're waiting for me. Happy birthday to my niece Natalia. Big celebrations. I'm on my way drinking a beer on television. This is my new life. So thank you guys for watching, and I love you, and I'll see you in a couple of hours. But we've got work to do because you need a spark for your fantasy team. I wish I could inject players into Chicago's lineup, but I can't do it. But I can do it on your Yahoo, on your NFL, on your ESPN league. So I got you covered with some guys. This is Sleepers for Week 6 edition, and let's do it. Remember, this is our first round of buys, people. It's wolf-tastic. It's not fun. It's Raiders, it's Texans, it's Lions, Titans, all off this week. So we got to dig a little bit deeper into this week's sleepers. How about Eno Benjamin? I always go to Fantasy Pros. That's just me, and he's ranked 27th there. James Conner dealing with a rib injury. Williams and Ward, they've already been ruled out. So hello, Eno. Get him in your lineup because he'll have a heavy workload against a struggling Seahawks defense that's allowed the second most yards to running backs this season. Even though he's been primarily the third running back in Arizona, he's averaged nearly 50 total yards per game. So listen, bump up and roll. Expect him to put up solid numbers. All right, moving on to Rondale Moore. After missing the first 3 games of the season, he got 8 targets on Sunday in his second game back in the lineup. If you know me or followed my career, you know I love him, and I want Cliff to use him so he can do his thing. He caught 7 balls, though, for 68 yards against a tough Eagles secondary and even got 2 carries on the day. So use him like that, Cliff. I'm begging you, and I think we might see him every day because it's Seattle and they have the 26th ranked pass defense. George Pickens, he has emerged as Kenny Pickett's go-to dude as far as targets are concerned, right? 8 targets in back-to-back games. He's averaging a team-leading 92.5 yards per game over that span. So given how the season's going and gone for the Steelers, I have a feeling they fall behind against the Buccaneers. What does that mean? Game script, baby. The rules are the rules. He's got to throw early and often. Pickens will have plenty of opportunities. Irv Smith Jr., I missed him last year, and now he's 12th on Fantasy Pros. He's young, he's talented. I know he has a lot to prove, and he's thinking, hey, this is going to be a breakout game for me this season. As he gets steady volume, he's averaging 6 targets a game over the last 4, and it could be in the works. He's got the Dolphins defense, we love them, but they are top 10 most generous to the tight end spot. It makes sense. Get him in your DFS lineup over at FanDuel. And last but not least, Trevor Lawrence. He's had a few tough ones, but I'm feeling a bounce back against my Colts here. He finished as the QB1 in each of his last 2 matchups with Indy. So if you had, your hopes tied up, if you were a Russell Wilson person, or if you've been streaming as you lost Dak Prescott and somehow weren't able to add Cooper Rush because you missed my show that day when I told you to do that, I would give Trevor a shot this week. All right, quick recap here. Eno Benjamin, Rondale Moore, George Pickens, Irv Smith Jr., and Trevor Lawrence, some sleepers. FanDuel has the best daily fantasy options, and they got over-unders, so grab these guys and put them in your lineup. Oh, you want touchdowns? I got K-Makers next. Lots of fun here on the Friday. Big thanks to Carl Banks and James Jones, Carmen and Vitali for joining me. But here's some K-Makers. Yep, you need to find the guys who are going to score touchdowns. Yikes. Did we have to show this? I only got 1 right. Jamar Chase, man, the Bengals. Zach Taylor, thanks. Thanks for not knowing how to use Jamar Chase and scheme him open. I appreciate that. Wow. So at least Tyler Lockett got 2. On FanDuel, do you get bonus points for that? No, huh? These are guys I think will score touchdowns today. This week. Jalen Hurts. We're going to go with a quarterback. We haven't done that yet, but it's worth it. He's totally a red zone weapon in this league. He has 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. Cowboys defense ranks 19th against the run this season. Another guy, I submit Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has not been held out of the end zone in back-to-back games yet this year. This is not just a shout-out to my family watching from Kansas City. Everyone on the Buffalo Bills is going to be looking at who? Mr. 4 touchdown, Mr. blah, 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 Mr. Kelsey, right? No, Clyde is going to punch one in this bout. My last K-Maker, Mike Evans. He and Brady have been rolling. Everyone perennially always sleeps on Mike Evans when these things happen. Evans has 184 yards, 2 scores over the last 2 weeks, and he's the most consistent red zone option, in my opinion, over the last decade, right? His 78 receiving touchdowns since entering the league in 2014 are tied with Devontae Adams for the most in the NFL over that span. So there you have it, my K-Makers. I guess we don't have a... Yeah, there you go. These guys are going to score touchdowns. I feel very good about this. Jalen, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Mike Evans. All right, we do this every week. We couldn't get to it because we had so many tremendous guests on the program this week, but we'll spin it forward. The Patriots play the Browns in week 6, then they go on to take on the Bears, and it's time to hit the lights. We do this when there are tremendous performances, some that are a little bit more unheralded, and no one stood out to me in all of week 5 action more than Matthew Judon. Patriots, 29-zip, huge performance. You know, Eric Weddle was all over it. They beat the Detroit Lions, which was, by the way, the #1 offense in the NFL. Judon was incredible. He racked up 2 sacks in the Patriots win over the Lions against really what's been one of the best offensive lines in the entire league. He strip sacks Jared Goff. It leads to a Kyle Duggar scoop and score that completely breaks the game open for New England in the dominant 29-0 win. And that's all over an offense that's been averaging over 35 points a game. He gets Defensive Player of the Week, so he got some honor, some accolades. And if it wasn't enough, Judon leads the NFL with 6 sacks on the year. And on that play, also becomes the first player in the Patriots' illustrious history to rack up a sack in 5 straight games to start the season. I'm giving him a big cheers. I'm sorry to, everything going on with the Browns. The Patriots are absolutely going to win the game, probably with Matthew Judon acting the way he's acting and playing the way he's playing. He is cementing himself as a lead, at least really in the conversation when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year. And Twitter, he's also a fan favorite up there. The Patriots fans, their heads are spiraling. Well, who are we going to be rallying around? And then, he has these iconic red sleeves. He comes back out for the game with red sleeves back on. So he's toying with everyone, all these fans. I don't know if we have any of that. But he goes, we don't. I'm never going to let y'all know what I'm doing. So Matthew Judon, you are a fan favorite. You are a bright light there on that lighthouse that turns up in Foxborough. And we see you keep dominating and keep bringing personality to everything you do. They need it up there in New England. And that was our show. We have 30 left to go. Okay, I don't even know that was true. Should I just chug my beer like I did last week? No, my family is watching. I can't do that. They've seen it before. They have seen it before. No, we won't do that. But thank you, everybody. The guests this week were incredible. We're going to keep it going. Sean Payton sat with me for an entire hour. He and Mark Ingram chopped it up. He yelled at him for coughing up the ball. So we had a great time. Big thanks to Eric Weddle and all the guests today. And we'll see you guys. And I'm going to drink my beer now. Goodbye. Have a great weekend. Wish me luck at LAX. And if you see me, don't bother me.